Hi there, folks. Back again for another video. This one's another just sort of hobby roundup of what I've been working on. And the focus at the moment is actually shifting a little bit back towards the idea of Warhammer 40,000 and doing some of that, in addition to a whole bunch of other things as well, which I'll go into a little bit later. But just to sort of start things off, one of the things I've been enjoying recently over the last little while has been Combat Patrol, and it's been really fun diving in and being able to build an army and play games with it, legitimate games of Warhammer 40,000 that don't take a really long time and offer up a fun experience basically out of a box, especially with the rules, most of them anyway, being free at the moment. And you will potentially have seen me posting up about the fact that I've been playing with my Chaos Daemons over the last little while. And that's been really fun. But one of the factions that I've always been interested in has been Space Wolves. And this seemed like a perfect opportunity to dive in and put together a fun Space Wolves force and play Combat Patrol with them without feeling like I was going to have to dive in massively deep in order to get lots of games in and all that kind of stuff. So I picked up the Space Wolves Combat Patrol recently, alongside a whole bunch of other bits and pieces as well. And I am really looking forward to trying to build the 13th company of the Space Wolves. So that's kind of like your Wulfen style miniatures for use as part of my Combat Patrol. Now, obviously, one of the things that's really interesting about the Space Wolves at the moment is that a lot of their kits are still basically the old plastic kits that have been around for a very long time and are essentially the firstborn Space Marines. But I wanted to try and play around with the Primaris force that you get in the set for Combat Patrol, which I'll have linked down below if you've not seen it before. And that comes with basically a whole host of Primaris Space Marines alongside effectively the only Space Wolf miniature in the set is the pack leader that you get as your sort of Primaris Lieutenant character in the force. And so what I thought I'd do is I would take some of the existing kits that are out there and I'd do a little bit of kit bashing. So one of the kits that I actually picked up was the Wulfen kit. And as you can see, I've done a little bit of kit bashing on this character here, which was just adding a Wulfen claw to that set, because I don't really like the Wulfen kit as it stands, but it comes with some nice little bits and pieces that you can use for making fun miniatures, especially the Wulfen claw, as you can see there. So this was just a little bit of a test model I wanted to play around with using the Valhallan Blizzard, which I think has actually turned out really nicely. And this was just me working on the Hounds of Morkai that you don't get in the Combat Patrol, but that's because I decided to buy some ahead of buying that, just to get my sort of foot in the door when it came to painting up some fun miniatures for the Space Wolves, and I feel like I've been bitten by the bug. So it's going to be a whole range of kind of like smaller kit bashes and stuff to try and get that Wulfen vibe off. I don't think you're really going to see it in the miniatures that we're seeing here, but like this is one of the guys that I've painted, that I've undercoated, sorry, and he's got two of the Wulfen claws there, and then I've just attached his gun to the back. This chap, I mean, obviously I know these people don't have these weapons, but this is basically just for flavour, really. I've given him one of the hammers from the Wulfen kit, and he's got the other hand there grasping a skull. So, another cool one there. As I say, I probably should get some paint on these so you can see them a little bit better. This chap's got one of the, instead of having the daggers, I thought I'd just use some of the Wulfen double claws, because I think that worked quite nicely. So there's another one. Just simple conversions, really, to make the Hounds of Morkai. But the Hounds of Morkai as if they were part of the 13th company. And there's another one there. Which was kind of nice. But yeah, so that was my first little step into doing this, because I was like, right, I want to do conversions. I want to do 13th company. How can I achieve that with some of the kits that exist from Games Workshop? And so the Wulfen kit seemed like a perfectly good option for doing that. And there's loads and loads of additional options in there for you to tinker around with. And because the Wulfen are fairly big models, they work quite nice proportionally with the rest of the Primaris range that currently exists. Because I want to try and make an all Primaris force for the 13th company, or at least Primaris scale anyway, for use in my games. So yeah, that's one of my sort of like test models. I will come back and maybe change a couple of things, like I'm just going to paint these in the original light leather and just do a wash of them rather than worrying about doing a black one and then going over it with a black one, going over it with a darker brown and then going over it with a lighter one. I'm just going to start from a lighter brown and just wash it down, basically. But yeah, that's just a little bit of a test model. But this led me on to looking at some other bits and pieces. So you will have noticed that there's a range of bits here on the table. These have come from, I think it's Greytide Studio. So I saw these advertised, or at least used anyway, as part of an Eons of Battle video. And I thought to myself, well, I'm going full Wulfen with these, and there's not enough Primaris bits out there to make 13th Company stuff without having to buy a whole host of upgrade sprues. And so what I did was I ordered some of their 3D printable bits via Only Games. And these, I gotta say, I've had 3D printable stuff through Etsy before, and it has been pretty good. But the detail and the clean lines on these 3D prints are just stunning. So I got the Hounds physical pack and also another pack which you'll see in a second. But this gives you a whole bunch of bits and pieces for making your Grey Hunters or your Blood Claws or whatever, or if you just want to use them with Primaris models, what I'm going to be doing. It gives you a whole host of bits for doing just that. So you get unhelmeted and helmeted heads. This is by no means the full selection of what you get. There's a whole host of baggies off to the side which have got all the heads and stuff in them. But as you can see, really nice looking heads that aren't massive. I mean, they're more Viking-y than Wulfen, I would say, which I think is a good way of going. But yeah, really awesome heads, very nice detail, and all Primaris scaled and themed and proportioned. So you can even see the scar on that guy's head there, and then the slight difference in the hairstyle, which I think is really awesome. They also do, so the physical pack comes with all the things that you see here times a billion effectively. So you get a whole bunch of shields. So if you're going to be making storm shields and the like, you've got the option for that. This is just one of those that I've picked out that I think looks really nice. Really good detail. You can see little bits of the 3D printing process here and there, but to be honest, looking at this stuff, you're basically looking at stunning stuff that wouldn't look out of place coming off a plastic sprue from Games Workshop Japan. And it's actually pretty heavy duty because I've dropped most of these pieces a few times and also dropped my camera on them as well because I'm a klutz. You also get a host of weapons. So there's like a power hammer with the wolf head at the back there. Again, all themed and scaled to the 28mm heroics, so more around the 32mm, I suppose you'd say, for Space Wolves now and the Space Marines now. And I think it's probably one of the best sets of Space Wolf bits out there. See there's a little bit of the connection point, the joints there on the end of the fingers, but one shouldn't be too hard to clean up with a knife. And again, stunning quality there. You also get bits and pieces like this cloak here, so that's a really nice one for those people that are going to be making leader characters in their units. So I know Jay from Eons Battle used these to do a kill team, which I think is a really good way of doing things. But yeah, I mean, even on that side, which is just the plain cloak side, you can see that the detail is crisp as anything. I mean, it does cost you a little bit to get these bits and pieces, but I think to have a whole host of bits and bobs for making unique Space Wolves that'll stand out from everybody else's, I think this is really cool. I mean, you've got these bits here that go over the frontage of the Space Marine. So you've got like a loincloth there, because Space Wolves and Space Marines in general do tend to like their loincloths. You also get a massive amount of these shoulder pads that come with super cool additions. Like this one's got a horn over the top and then fur at the bottom and the little runic symbol there. See a few supports still on these, but most of them came out clean, to be honest. There's another one, slightly more, let's say, Warcrafty, I guess, in its design. I could see a lot of orcs using this. But yeah, really nice stuff there, as you can see, and very, very clean details on these pieces. So I only have props for only games, to be honest, for doing the printing on these. The quality is superb. And here's some of the backpacks. So you got this one here, which kind of has a little bit of a heresy feel to it, which is kind of cool, with the axe on the back. And you can also see the skull there, looking very nice. Do a little bit of cleaning up on that one as well, but otherwise, there you go. Just basically peels back, which is good. So another nice little backpack there, and another one there with the different venting and stuff on it. This one's more of like a Reaver backpack. It's got those kind of fins there, but a decent one, I think you'll agree. Looking very good. So my plan is to dive in and use all these bits and pieces. You can see some more of them there. So this is just basic accessories and all sorts of different things. And let's see if I can find another one of the ones that has some cool bits. So here we go. Here's some of the extra heads. So you get loads of heads in here that will allow you to make what I had 4 out there. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. It's a tactical squad and a half, or an intercessor squad and a half, or something like that. Or an intercessor squad and then a bunch of characters, should you be looking to do sort of wolf guard to fit into the mix. But because I'm doing the combat patrol, all of this stuff comes together to create a really cohesive set of miniatures that will have their own unique feel to them. And even though I have done things like I bought the extra Hounds of Morkai and the Wulfen bits and things like that, even though I have done stuff like this, I don't feel like I have the need to expand it if I don't want to, because Combat Patrol just plays as Combat Patrol. And I think this is quite a good comparison between things. Actually, if I do this and then I hold up something like that, like the detail and the look and the feel is right on. So I think that they've done a fantastic job with the quality of these. I'll have the link down below so you can go and have a look at it. This is not sponsored in any way, by the way. I just really like these and thought I'd do a little quick sort of summing up and review of them so you get an idea of what they look like. I also got myself, because the Combat Patrol comes with an Invicta tactical warsuit. Oops, I'm losing bits. And I'm not a massive fan of the Invicta, to be honest. I don't mind the look, but I think it looks a little bit anime manga. And so what I thought I'd do is I'd get the Ancestor sort of armory pack. So these are a whole bunch of additional bits and pieces that you can use to basically replace the components on your dreadnoughts. So like your Redemptors or your Brutalis or your Invicta tactical warsuits, of course, as well. So what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to do a closed sarcophagus on the front, and then just use these bits and pieces to adorn the ancient armor. So here you can see, here's 2 of the bits that would go on the side. So they'd hang down on the left and the right with the massive horns, as you can see there. And it will give the tactical warsuit, I think, a little bit more of a better look, in my opinion. And obviously tie it in with the rest of the force as well, which I think is quite important. So you've got some big bits and pieces here. And there's no reason that you necessarily have to use these for a dreadnought, to be honest. You could use these to adorn your own version of like a Wulfen Russ, for example, if you wanted to. Get the Radikar the Beast model, and then use these to kind of up glam, I guess, your version of him. But yeah, I just thought I'd show off those and give you a little bit of a heads up as to where I'm going with the models at the moment and what my plans are for the Combat Patrol, because I want to play Combat Patrol with something a little bit different from my Chaos Daemons, and this kind of offers that. I will also say I've not let historical wargaming go by the wayside. I still have been working away on my Riflemen for use in Chosen Men, which I looked at last week. So here's a couple. So there's Harper and Hagman, looking rather nice, I think you'll agree. And here are the other couple as well. So we've got Cooper here, who needs to be finished off, and Perkins there, so young Mr. Perkins. So these just need to be highlighted back up again after the wash, and then I'll be doing all the basing for those, and I'll have a bunch of Riflemen done. I just need to do one more set of those, maybe one or two more models, and then there'll be the Riflemen done, and then I can move into other bits and pieces. I am also still working on my lawmen for some Old West Wargaming, so these are my Great Escape Games Gunfighter lawmen, as you could tell by their deputy badges. So there's a couple that I've started work on. I'm going to try and make these guys look a little bit more uniform, I think. There'll be like similarities in their trousers and boots and stuff and their hats, but then I'll add additional colour in here and there when it comes to the rest of their outfits. But these are a joy to paint, absolute joy to paint. They're painted very, very quickly, and I'm very eager to get them sorted in the near future. And I also went for plenty of facial hair with these chaps, as you can see. So yeah, I'm not being dragged too far away into the realms of Warhammer 40,000 at the moment, but it's closing in. For now, though, I think I'm going to do a little bit of building, have stuff just sitting ready in the backlog, and yeah, I will chat to you folks soon with a look at some more historical stuff that I might be working on. Hint, I am working on. And yeah, let me know what you think of the Bitz and the 13th Company, and if you've got any ideas for what I can do for additional bits and pieces here and there that you might know of out on the internet. Especially if you've got someone who knows how to replace the cockpit on the Invicta Tactical Warsuit, because I really want to get that sarcophagus in there and make it look very nice. So yeah, I'm going to stop waffling. I'm going to move on to get stuck into another video. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, do all that good stuff, and I'll chat to you folks soon in another video. Bye for now.